An insurance plan isn't something because you're living by negativity. It's because in the same way you get car insurance and health insurance, and you hope you don't actually have to use your car insurance.
You know, in the last week, we've obviously seen what's happened in Vietnam with bank accounts being closed down. The UK with the digital ID implementation, rolling in. I think US Congress is just going to be closed down from tomorrow. Technology moves faster than information, unfortunately, these days, and not all information is accurate information. But one of the days when you can switch off, right? It's very difficult for any of us to switch off. Vietnam has probably kind of put a bit of a rocket up myself, in all honesty, because I spend a lot of time in Asia, very much aware of what's happening over there.
It doesn't take an IQ higher than, much more than 50 to work out that Australia's civilization is collapsing and we're under a serious wealth attack right now. Once I got better, I realized we're heading for a major wealth down and civilization collapse. You can't continue to borrow money, print money out of your ass like the banks and the government are doing, and continue to drive cost of living and create a greater divide between the masses and the upper class without eventually causing a riot and a pushback. I just thought, fuck, I'm not going to be coerced into a vaccine, Who here is actually, just type me if it's actually keeping you awake at night, like you really genuinely are like, fuck, this is like really bad shit. We're facing really genuine threat to our liberties like never before. We're facing rising cost of living. We're facing a bleak middle-class future, which is falling apart, completely collapsing and ending as we know it, so to speak. So these are the realities that we're facing in Australia, things we've never had to face at this level before, and we're generally continuing to see more liberties taken. We're at war. Basically, we're at war for our liberties, our freedom, and our future as a country, and things like that. There's going to come a point at some stage, I don't know when governments will realise that the wealth drain is way too big and you're going to have to do something about it. And I can remember in Perth 25 years ago, you could buy one-bedroom flats in Maylands for like $53,000, like 53 grand. You could buy one and it would pay for itself in rental income. So these are the things that Generation Zs, millennials are crying out for. And in a way, rightly so, they want to have a society where they can get ahead and have a chance to build a future rather than feel this sense of hopelessness, not seeing any real way out to have a new life and a better way of living. The last reset that happened in Australia and the US was in 1933 during the Great Depression. It's now been 92 years since the last reset. The main thing is you'd be silly to not at least have a plan B, but if you really see things going like COVID did, where it's going crazy and governments start talking about, conscription, or start talking about which they have already changed conscription laws in the last few years. So again, you just want to make sure you got plan B. It's not to be living there in constant terror where you're sitting there and needing to take medication all day, every minute. And he calls all small and great, rich and poor, free and bond or free and slave to receive a mark in their right hand or foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell unless he had the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. They said, hey, you don't need to get vaccinated. We're not going to make you do that. We'd never do that to you. But, you can't go to the movies, you can't sing, you can't do shit. You have to go and do this and go and do that, and you can't travel and you can't do this if you get it. And you can't go into these shops and shit like that. Because in Russia right now, you can't even ring WhatsApp. I don't know if anyone knows this, but if you're Russian, you can't call a Westerner. Now, for you to ring Russia or to ring you, they've got to go on Putin's Max Russia app, which basically gives government full surveillance tracking of your phone. It's a coordinated wealth redistribution plan, and you're the guinea pig in Florida. Entrepreneurs are literally flooding in there, living amazing lives, paying fuck all taxes, and welcomed in there where their values being, recognized. And this is what's going to happen. It's like if you're in a relationship, you're treated like shit, eventually you're going to go where you're more valued. And it's just that when you're growing up in Australia, you're so used to it that it's hard to see what really exists outside there. Because I have like literally world-class beaches and paying jack shit. And so now I'm like, great, well, you just complicated my life. Now I've got to go to Koh Samui. I've sold out most of my properties. I've got out of here and I'm now making way more money, way better rental returns, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month passive income on properties. And I'm happy here. The number one reason is not tax. Let me stress that. The number one reason is not tax. It's jurisdictional protection. So let me sink in. It just means that if the shit hits the fan in Australia, you've got something offshore. what I love about Bali is the little things. Australia, 9 months ago, I decided I was going to get a motorbike, okay, because I love motorbikes. And I go, okay, I'm going to get one. And they said, oh, you got to get a 6-month learner's permit. I said, what do you mean? I've got like a driver's license, I can ride them. Yeah, but you got to get one. Well, can I at least just do 10 hours and then go? No, you got to wait 6 months. I'm like, why the fuck for? Oh, no, that's the rules. We don't want any accidents in our country. And I just said, thank you. I said, thank you for caring about me. And he goes, of course, sir, have a good day. And the reality is we really are in deep shit. I'm just going to be blunt, and I haven't been this direct before, but we're really in deep shit. And we're not going to sit there and put up with this shit. There's no mandates for South Dakota. They don't apply here. She said, just be kind to each other. And then when Biden said he was going to basically come in and force the federal employees to get vaccinated in South Dakota, she just said to South Dakota, we're going to rally the National Guard, and if Biden comes in, take up arms and drive him out. I said, I'm telling you, they're going to go. I said this in 2020 in May, and some of you were here know that. I said, we're going to coerce you to get your vaccines, they're going to try and muzzle you up. I'm telling you, my life's never been this good. It really isn't. That's why I'm doing this stuff. Life would be awful if I get myself out and I'm not doing something to make a difference. So the smart money is already moving, and you really don't want to be the dumb at money. And look, the reality is people are really fucking stupid. Let's face it. And basically by 2029, you can rest assured they will control the voting. And you can rest assured that if they're living in a world where they can't get access to buying a home and having a future, they will be screaming to take your money off you in a reset and give them a chance. But when you can't pick on a big enemy, you pick on the smaller enemy. That's why we're going to pick on you. Not because you deserve it, because you really don't, but because you're an easy target. The reality is the masses don't want this. They want your money. So 65% under 40, 35%, your influence is diminishing. It's going down. I'm telling you. And that means that basically the dumb vote is going to determine who gets in. The vote that wants to know their welfare check, know who's going to take your assets, and give you a big fuck you. That's the beauty of history, everyone. You got the lessons waiting for you in history if you're willing to listen. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. So Germany, life savings couldn't buy bread, middle class eliminated. That's why Hitler came up. When governments target wealth, it collapses because people honestly believe socialism will fix it. So what keeps you awake at night? Wealth heavily taxed, aggressive ATO tactics, and things like that. Retirement savings erosion through new taxation. And so the main thing is to take the action to restructure your affairs. We'd share with you about our white tier, grey tier, black tier system, where we'd say you got your white tier jurisdictions that are accepted like Australia, America, you got your grey tier like Hong Kong, Singapore, which is still really good, and your black tier like Panama, Seychelles, which are considered blacklisted, but are really great for privacy. So rather than have all my gold in Australia, in case they seize gold like they did in the 1930s, I'm going to have some gold overseas. Protection is no longer optional, it's survival. And so this is why I've already shared the following options that you've got. Option one is not do anything, okay? And I really hope none of you are doing that. Number two is you can actually stay put in Australia. Just stay put. You have an offshore plan B, but stay put. Maintaining Australian resident while establishing structures. Set up your plan B. You get things in place. It really is. If places like Paraguay, they're welcoming people right now in Paraguay and Mexico for fuck all to go and become a resident if you like the Latino. One of my website designer who I work with, he's now in Mexico. I helped him go there. He's the happiest man on planet Earth. Reckons the best thing he ever did in his life. So a global citizen, you manage to keep a lot more of your wealth. And if you do nothing, it can, this is what happens to your taxes. The threat is imminent and needs action. Time spent in regret is wasted unless it makes you move, and you kick your ass hard and you move faster. You can make it better than it is right now. There are things you can do to at least make it harder. I mean, one of the best things, this is why the more wealthy you get and having offshore wealth, the better it gets.
The world is your oyster at the end of the day, and that's really what you have to do. You have to step into it. A lot of people wake up, but they don't clean up. They don't show up. They don't grow up. I can put my hand on my heart and say that, in 12 months, I definitely won't be around in this space because it just won't be possible. They're 997, as Warren's got up on the screen here. They go for, 90 minutes to 2 hours. It's where I can draw you a mud map right out. I can show you your options. I can even tell you what the costings would be to do that as well, too. I'll give you multiple
Oh, but you
avenues.
got the special offer. Remember, we got the special offer as well.
Oh, yeah, sorry, you've got that there. So you've got the special offer there where you get 50% off on that. So for 497, I will spend 90 minutes. I don't have children. I don't have a partner. I don't really have any real big responsibilities, but my purposes in life. And I myself am most certainly very aware. Create a web, play in the game, play with the jurisdictions, ensure that you can sleep easy at night.
Need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing.